Everyone loves football, but how green is your football club? Let's go and have a look here. You can already see we've got some electric charging points, but that's just the start. Let's go and see what else there is. Forest Green Rovers is the UN accredited greenest football club in the world. Now, for any football club, it's energy, transport, food, and its impact on nature, which are the most important things to think about. Let's go and have a look. I've got a model here of the planned wooden stadium. This is the future of the club. It's going to be on a new site and made completely out of wood, which will store and lock carbon away. Forest Green Rovers, the world's first vegan football club, and actually now quite a few clubs have followed. Most clubs put plastic in their pitches to make them more durable, but Forest Green Rovers have got a completely organic and natural pitch, and they use things like seaweed to be able to fertilise the pitch, and they've also got this really interesting scheme where the away fans' wee is processed and used to fertilise the pitch as well. All of the machinery used to look after the pitch is also completely electric and runs on 100% renewable electricity. You can see here we've got this big storage tank because also water is an important resource. Underneath the pitch is a drain, and all of the rainwater is collected and reused to be able to water everything around the site. Up there are some solar panels, and they produce 20% of the club's electricity. The other 80% comes from ecotricity and provides deep green electricity. We've even got a wind turbine over there. For any club, the way fans travel is often the largest source of carbon emissions. What that means for Forest Green Rovers is special coaches and public transport put on for match days, and fans are encouraged to walk and cycle as much as possible. We've got the first team just over here doing a training session, and their kit is really considered. A company called Reflow have a completely closed loop circular system for the way that those clothes are produced and what happens to them afterwards, but also the fabrics that are used are really sustainable. Even the electric advertising boards use renewable electricity from the sun. Stick our heads in here. So Forest Green Rovers, the world's first plant-based football club, and the type of food that we eat often also has the biggest impact on our carbon emissions, and choosing to eat plants over meat or eating less meat and more plants, it's both good for us but also good for the planet. It has a much lower carbon emission. Yeah. Yeah, Reflow make the kits, and Reflow have got a full circular production, so nothing goes to waste, and after the product's been used, it also can then be turned into something else useful. But also the fabric and the material is really considered, and it's as sustainable as it can be. Here's an example of some of the food. Chips are vegan. We can break down the carbon emissions from a football club into 3 distinct groups. We've got, firstly, the things that the club burns, like fuel maybe for vehicles or for any heating on site. We call that Scope 1. We've then got some indirect emissions, and it might be the things that are used to create the electricity or the heating that comes onto the site, and the club is responsible for those, but they're indirect. And then the third one, the wider emissions, are called Scope 3. And they're the things that the club doesn't do directly, but it's still responsible for, like the travel for fans or for the staff, and maybe also the emissions linked to all of the stuff the club uses, like the food it uses and what happens to its waste. So we've got here 3 things that make up our carbon emissions. Another big impact on the environment is the procurement and sourcing and all the different relationships that a club has. You can see around here some of the boarding that shows brands that Forest Green Rovers works with. And the club has really high standards, and it only works with brands that meet those sustainable credentials. It's brands like Corn and Ecosia are ones that it works with. It also chooses not to work with gambling brands as well. So there's no sign of gambling advertising on their kit or in the stadium. Your challenge is to find out how green your football club is.